Hello and welcome to Send with Coffee and Boxing Gloves. My name's Kelly and today's episode is called Our Carers Assessment Journey. So today's episode I am going to talk about the carers assessment that I had because I think it's important for people to know what help can be out there. And obviously I will do a future episode on helping you if you need to do your own carers assessment. So with being a carer, unpaid carer, you qualify for a carers assessment, and the carers assessment is for your needs as a carer. So it's not about the person you care for, it's about you. What do you need to help you in your caring responsibility? Because obviously it's very important that carers are supported. Obviously it's cheaper for council services if you're doing the unpaid work. So that's why you can obviously have a carers assessment. It is part of law as well. I think it's Care Act. I think it comes under. Not 100% sure. And obviously, I'm in England, so anything that I say is relevant to England, not any of the other devolved nations. So with my carers assessment, so I was like, I really need to have a look into this and see, what support there is for me. And in our area, so I went on, Googled our local authority, carers assessment, and in our area it's not the council that do the carers assessment, it's a charity called Carers First. So filled out all the form and everything, put the referral in, and I had a phone call from a lovely lady who said that she would need to carry out an assessment, and could she come and visit me at home to do that, when can we do it. So we booked it in, and I think it was must have been about November time. So not last year, the year before. And it had snowed. And as a country, we're not very good when it snows. Like, things stop, things don't work. And luckily, she lived in the same place that we live. So she was like, is it still okay if I come round? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And so she walked from hers to. I've got the cat getting in the way now. Hello, cat. So she walked here in the snow. It was a really cold day as well. And Jessie was poorly. She was off school that day. She was on the sofa and she was asleep. So, yes, this lady came in and she said, oh, can you talk openly with, Jessie being here? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, she's going to be asleep for a good couple of hours. It'll be fine. So she explained obviously what they do, that they look at what support can be offered, and then if support is offered that needs paying for, then it will be the council that would pay for it. So we went through, like, what are your caring responsibilities? Obviously, I'm the main carer for Jessie. I don't sleep a lot. There's a lot that I've had to sort out, and obviously I struggle because I've still got things to do. Like, I've still got the housework that I need to do. I take her to school because I'm not putting her in a taxi. I pick her up and I have to be there earlier to help with her transition. So I don't have a lot of time in the day to get things done. Like, I'm not able to kind of, do anything I enjoy, like sit and watch some like true crime documentaries, or sit and do my cross stitch, which I like doing. So we went through all of that, and then she was saying about, what support does Jessie have in place. So I mentioned about, obviously she's got the EHCP, and said about, that the fight I had to get that, and even like threatening to go down the council offices and everything. And I was like, I was not giving up. I was constantly, just going at the council of, you need to get this sorted, you need to get this sorted, what's happening, what are you doing? And she was like, that's a lot to do. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't that what any parent would do? And she was like, no. I was like, okay then. But it's quite funny when you tell these people these things and you think, well, that's normal. You're a parent, you're fighting for your child. Um, so, yeah, I think it still strikes me that it's strange that people are just like, that's a lot to do, but it's like, she's my child. I would literally fight to the death for her. So anyway, so we spoke about that, and she was like, what support do you think would kind of help? And I'd had a bit of a look and see what things can, be sort of offered. And I did see that someone had said that they got a cleaner that comes in, and I was like, well, that would help me because that's one less thing to do. Even if they only do, the bathroom and the kitchen, and they mop the floor, run the hoover around, wipe sides down. That's a big thing. So she's like, okay, we can look at that. And then she said about hobbies, and she said, oh, I'll have a look into it, and I'll contact you, and we'll see what we can do for that. I was like, okay, fair enough. And she said, obviously, if you're accepted, I do need to speak to my manager. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then she said, how are your white goods? And I was like, well, the washing machine by that point was really quite old, but do you know what? It still worked absolutely fine. But we did have an issue with the oven. So I did say to her, I was like, oh, we've got a bit of an issue with the oven in that we live in an old house and it's got one of those old cooker switches, which some people might remember. And so you have to press that on to put the oven on. And you you turn it on, you put the oven on, and the light will come on, and then you'd be like, well, the fan hasn't come on yet, so that's not warming up. And then you'd leave it for a couple of minutes, and then you'd have to turn it off, leave it for a bit, turn it back on again, wait for the fan to kick in. Has the fan kicked in? No. Turn it off again, turn it back on. Oh, fan's come on, brilliant, it's heating up now. Luckily, we had an air fryer. It was only like if we were going to have a pizza that wouldn't fit in the air fryer. And I said to her, I said, I kind of pray to the gods every time I press the on button, and at some point it's just never going to come back on. So she did say as well that they can look at providing a grant for an oven for us. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. And obviously it's all based on your income and things like that. So anyway, off she went back in the snow, and she rang me a couple of days later. And she said, I've been looking into this thing, a cross-stitch subscription box. She's like, I'll send you the link if you want to have a look and see if it's something you might be interested in. So she sent me this link. And yeah, it's a monthly box. And you get a cross-stitch kit in there, complete with, like, for example, if it's a cushion, you've got the fabric for the back and like the surround, or if it's a sort of hanging, you've got the hoop to hang it in. And then it comes with a little sort of sweet treat each month, and a little sort of gift as well. And I looked at the designs. I was like, yeah, do you know what? I like those designs. I was like, oh, I really like that. And she's like, we'll look into that. And she said, I'll let you know, obviously, if you've been accepted. So a couple of days later, she rang me. She said, it's all been accepted. So it was agreed that I would have a cleaner once a fortnight for 2 hours, just because that made more sense than like an hour a week. So I was like, oh, amazing, thank you. And then I would have a 12-month subscription, because this company, they do it like, you can do it 3, 6, 9 or 12 months. She said it would be enough to cover a 12-month subscription for it. So I was like, oh, amazing, thank you. So this was about December time that was accepted. And she said, I'd pass the information on to the grants team about the oven, so someone will be in contact with you. I was like, okay, wonderful. And she said that I would have a prepaid bank account set up. So it's a company called AllPay. And it works like a bank account, so I can make payments to the cleaners from it, but it'll also have like a prepaid MasterCard debit card on there, so I could then pay for the cross-stitch subscription from it. So it's in my name, and she said the council will put money in each month to cover the cleaning, but they'll put a one-off deposit for the 12-month subscription box, which I think was about 240 quid, I think. It wasn't cheap. And that's a box every month. And I was like, oh, okay, wonderful, thank you. She's like, that'll come through shortly. I was like, okay, brilliant. And I had a lady ring from the grants team, and she was lovely. So of course we had to go through everything, had to go through income, outgoings, obviously all of the expenditure, things like that. And she said, oh, just to let you know, there's two amounts of funding. It's either £300 or £400. She said, so it depends, obviously circumstances, which one you'll be eligible for. And I was like, okay, brilliant. And she said, I'll ring you when I hear back about it. So then in the meantime, I got my card through, managed to activate my account, found a cleaning company, which luckily they were advertising. And I was like, oh, yes, please. And they came round, and oh my God, my cleaning lady, she is lovely. She is so understanding, because I was so embarrassed that I needed a cleaner because and because Jessie isn't toilet trained, and there are many times where she'll have a wee on the floor. I'm paranoid that our house absolutely smells of wee. But she was so nice. She's so lovely. And bear in mind, she's still my cleaner, and I think that's what, a year and a half now, probably. But she's lovely. So they came round, and we agreed a deep clean was probably going to be the best way to start, and then going forward it would be every couple of weeks. So sorted all that, and then just log into this account, send the money to them, and it's done. And then every month I get a back remit that says we put this amount into this account. Brilliant. So that was sorted, and then I bought my cross stitch subscription box as well. Very excited about doing that, spending £240 of someone else's money, but got that set up as well, so that was good. And then the lady called from the grants team, and I almost got home. I think I was probably about 50 yards from my drive, and the phone obviously connects in the car, and it's all does it. I don't know how it's technology. I don't know. As I get older, technology confuses me more. Genuinely a thing. And answered it, and it was a lady from the grants team. And I literally just stopped the car and put it in park, because I was like, I need to reverse onto my driveway anyway. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do that while she's talking, because I need to know this. So she said about it. She said, and just ringing to let you know. She said, I'm really sorry. She said, you haven't been approved for the £300 grant. And I was like, oh, okay. And she said, but that's because you've been approved for the £400 grant. And I was like, oh, that's sneaky of you, isn't it? And laughed. And she chuckled. Like I say, she was a lovely, lovely woman. But and she said that obviously the grant would be paid into my account, and we could get the oven. And I was just like, the relief of it was just incredible, because it would be just my luck that I'd be putting a pizza in, Jessie would see that we're putting a pizza in, and the oven just won't turn on at that point. So that was really, really helpful. And then we got the new oven, which is lovely, and you switch it on, and it warms up so much quicker than the other one. I mean, the other one I think was probably about 10 years old, might even been older than that. So that was really, really nice. And then, funnily enough, a couple of months later, the washing machine broke. And then it was like, However, one of my lovely friends, whose little boy goes to the same school as Jessie, they moved from an older house into a new build. So, of course, had all integrated appliances. And she was like, look, I've got a washing machine if you want it. Like, it's just sat in our storage unit. And I was like, that'd be amazing. Like, do you want some money for it? She was like, no, you're helping us out, because they needed to obviously get sorted because of the storage unit costing money. And she's like, I've got an American fridge freezer as well if you want. Oh, yes, please. I've always wanted one of those. But so then she's like, I'm really sorry, though, because it's going to be a few weeks until I can get the washing machine to you. I was like, don't worry about it. So again, lovely next door neighbour, can I do a load of washing in your washing machine, please? Thank you. Did that. We used the tumble dryer a few times as well, bless her. So that was fine. Then got like took a few baskets of washing to Rob's parents as well to get them to do it, but that was fine. But I just thought it was so funny the fact that it was only a few weeks after we got the grant for the oven that the washing machine went, and now I'm done. But again, I think that was about 11, 12 years old maybe. And then we got the newer one, and like the spin on it is insane. It's like 1400, the maximum. And you kind of pick things and you're like, wow, this feels really quite dry. Um, so that's good. But again, that does link into obviously the care assessment and got the grant and everything. So that kind of works well because, like I say, the council put money in every month for my cleaner, and then I just log in, send the money across, and she receives it, and that's it. So that was, like I said, that was November. What are we in now? 26, 24, November 24. That was the assessment first started, and then yeah, I think it was January that it was fully accepted, and up and running. And I'd obviously said to my cleaner, like, it's guaranteed income until October because obviously the council give me the money, I send it on to them. So, like I say, my cleaner, she's lovely. We're always chatting whenever she comes round. So it came to, November of last year, so November 25, and my care support worker, she rung me to say, look, it's coming up, we need to do an annual review of your care assessment. And she was like, do you want to meet somewhere for coffee? And I was like, that sounds good. I mean, coffee? Ask me a coffee, I'm there. Like, literally. Do you want to come for coffee? Yes, I do. So we met at Wetherspoons, which was good, and yeah, just sort of went through it. How's everything working? I'm like, yeah, it's really, kind of helping. So I kind of have more time because I'm not kind of worrying too much. Obviously I do clean in the meantime, but not kind of a deep clean, as it were, like the cleaners do. And I was like, I'm enjoying the cross stitch box because I've done a couple, and there was like a really nice summery tote bag, and it had like beach huts and flamingos on it, and I really enjoyed doing that one. So yeah, I was like, it's working really well. She's like, okay, so obviously I'll let you know if it's been renewed. And another thing that carers first do is they do carer meets. So they'll do various things. There's various meetups around the county. Some of them are quite far away, and it's like, well, I can't really get to that. Some of them, timing wise, doesn't work for me because I have to leave early to obviously go and pick up Jessie. But they do things. So they had a big sort of gathering, and it was various sort of support services in the county for sort of like autism. There was dementia ones. There was a couple of other ones I can't remember. But obviously different groups, and you may not have heard of them, but you can talk to them, you can get information, get advice, things like that. And they had a speaker there, who apparently is like quite renowned, about ADHD. And I thought, well, that'd be really interesting anyway. And then he gave out a copy of his book signed. So I was like, fantastic, I love a freebie. And because now we're potentially thinking Jessie might be ADHD, I really need to find that book out and have a look at it. But yes, they do things like that. But then they also do things like there's a walk that they arrange around a couple of different sort of country houses in the area, which you can sign up to. They did bowling one time, and I really wanted to go bowling because they pay for it, so they cover the cost. You don't have to pay anything. I really wanted to go bowling, and I managed to. First time I didn't get a space, I was on the wait list. Second time I got a space, and Jessie was off sick the very day I should have gone bowling. And I was like, really wanted to go and do some bowling for free. It would have been fun. But yeah, I do need to look at a few more. Like they do sort of like a parent carer sort of coffee meet as well. Which again, it's good to find these things to then be able to kind of speak to other people, because as I've kind of mentioned on previous episodes, it can be really, really isolating. So it's good to find these sorts of things. And like I say, I don't know how it works in other areas. Obviously, I can only comment on my own experience and what goes on in my area. But yeah, with the carers first, so they agreed that they would renew it for another year. So I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I let my cleaning lady know, and I was like, just so you know, been renewed for a year. But their prices had gone up. And I'd said that to my care support lady. I was like, look, they've just put their prices up, so it's actually going to be more. And she said, oh, okay, I'll put that through, it's fine. And that was obviously agreed. And again, it's guaranteed until like October time. So, yeah, so I was very excited to tell my cleaning lady, oh, it's been renewed, but also I can pay you more. So that's good. She's lovely though, honestly. She's so nice. Really understanding as well, because like if it's school holidays and Jess is around, she knows that she's not going to be able to get everything done that she normally would, because it depends on what Jess is doing, what room Jess is in, things like that. So she's really understanding around that, which is lovely. And so patient as well, especially if Jess is getting in the way. But yeah, so that was renewed, and then they renewed my CrossFit subscription box for another year. So again, they put the lump sum in for that, for me to pay with the prepaid MasterCard. And then I couldn't find the prepaid MasterCard. It was like, it was round here somewhere. What have I done with it? Clearly it's in the house somewhere. Jessie does like cards though, so I was like, she's clearly had that at some point. So then I had to order another card, which weirdly goes to the council, and the council send it on their paperwork, this replacement card. Don't know how that works. I mean, they can audit the account, and apparently they do audit the account, and they'll only ever see the 2 one-off payments from a cross-stitch box, and then paying my cleaning company. Literally it. Because obviously it's not my money. It's provided for those things, so it can only be spent on those things. So I told her a new card, and then the card came through, and then I didn't know exactly when my subscription ended. So I emailed the company, got a response like the next day, because I was like, look, I want to renew for another 12 months, but I don't want to pay to end up with 2 boxes in 1 month. So I think it was ending at the end of December. So to give it a few days into January and then order it, and then it will be the January box, because they come out at the end of the month. So it'll be the January box. I won't get a duplicate. So did that. Again, lovely spending £240 of someone else's money. Going, yes, I'll have that. Thanks very much. Oh, yes, yes. That card, brilliant. So, yeah, so that's been renewed. And I'll be honest, I haven't looked at any kind of outings or anything for a while. I think just because we've had a lot of kind of like school holidays and things like that, and time just goes sometimes as well, because then I'm like, oh, it's Thursday already. Oh, I've only got tomorrow. What do I need to get done before Jess is at home at the weekend? So I do need to look at more of those. But I also feel like I might be getting to the point where I might need a bit of a break, kind of on a sort of bit more of a regular basis. So I do need to contact my carers first lady. To be honest, I've been meaning to do that for a few weeks and just haven't got around to it. Just to see if there's any other kind of support I can have. Not to kind of take the mickey or anything, but it's just I need some help with Jessie now, especially since she's got older, because obviously a lot has changed in the last sort of 18 months or so with how Jessie is. So yeah, I need to do that, but it's nice that I have that support. So it's nice that I have the cleaners, because then I don't have to worry so much about, oh, I need to make sure I get that job done today, and I've only got 4 hours between being able to, get home before I've got to go out again. I think it's 3 hours. No, it is 4 hours. So basically 4 hours is my time once I've dropped her off and I get home, to then having to go back out again. So it's not a long time. And of course, if you start doing jobs, the next thing, that's 2 hours gone by. I mean, I haven't even sat down and had a coffee, which is sacrilege. So yeah, so it does really help. But I think I need a bit more support, which is understandable given that Jessie is getting older. She's getting bigger as well. But that's our carers assessment journey. If there are any interesting updates, I will pop them on. But it's nice to know that that is purely for me, because I think sometimes you can kind of lose your identity a little bit, but this is just to help me in being Jess's carer rather than just Jess's mum kind of thing. So yes, I would recommend definitely Google your local authority name and carers assessment. It'll have all the eligibility on there. Obviously, it'll have how you apply for an assessment, things like that. I know in one of the groups I'm in that someone gets a gardener once a week just to help sort of the garden look nice for the child that they're caring for, to ensure that, you know, obviously it's safe out there as well. But there's all sorts of things that they can look at to support you in your mental health and just help you in your caring role. But I will leave that here. Coffee, if you've enjoyed this episode or if it's helped you, please like, follow, subscribe. You can also buy me a coffee if you like. I do have a nice fresh one on the go at the moment. Link is below. But yeah, I will say thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you soon.